All right. What's going on, Mark?
Hey, I guess we should do introductions for people.
Yeah, we do. We do introductions now. We're going to do them every week, every time. So, yeah, in case you've forgotten, I'm Dan. I work on community stuff for Nativewind, NativewindUI, and soon Plugin Pro.
And I'm Mark, creator of Nativewind and the new package React Native CSS, which powers everything behind that. And I guess we're here to talk about mostly React Native CSS today. And
yeah, we're starting to get some people looking at
at the repo
at the version 5 branch, and there's a lot of people like, oh, I'm noticing that there's not a lot here, in the sense that, like, it's a thin wrapper around React Native CSS. So they're getting wise to it.
Yeah, people are realizing what's happening. Yeah, essentially the main thing about V5 for Nativewind is that it doesn't really do much anymore. We've removed all the polyfills that we used to have, and we have a new package, React Native CSS, which can actually just read the CSS directly. And the new thing about this is the reason why we're able to get rid of those polyfills is now Tailwind has moved completely to a CSS configuration. And we'll support that. And we've now added a few new CSS rules that work for native that we can just parse directly. So we're in the beta testing period for React Native CSS. That's just been published to NPM for some people to try publicly. And then Nativewind comes naturally after that. So fingers crossed we're going to have, if this beta goes well, then probably the Nativewind beta goes live a week after this. So
it's exciting.
Times.
It's happening.
It's happening.
This is a much faster turnaround than, what was it, version 2 to version 4. So if you relate it to that, we're doing really well.
Really well. Still slow turnaround though.
Yeah,
but we're getting there.
So, and this is going to be the last major update for quite some time then, as far as major versions are concerned. Not to say that it won't be actively worked on and all this, but just as far as major breaking changes.
Yeah, for major breaking changes, there's going to be nothing. I don't foresee anything for quite a long time for the Nativewind package and for people's usage. I think there might actually be a change for React Native CSS, but that I'm not going to start working on that for a little while. But that's something that I'm actually kind of interested in talking to you about today, and that's the React Native Worklets package.
We got side note. We have Jim/Josh in the chat real quick because he's in your part of the world and he's just like, what on earth are you doing? He was in the voice chat yesterday with us while we were playing Warzone.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's even earlier for me. It's 7:30 here.
You're a mad lad. Yeah. So no, I was just curious then, as far as the React Native CSS and sort of Nativewind abstraction to help folks understand when changes are made to React Native CSS. I feel like the Nativewind, the way you would consume it through Nativewind would presumably abstract away those changes from your project.
Yeah, exactly. So now the Nativewind project is just a very thin shell wrapper just to get things set up for post CSS for Tailwind. And it's mostly just going to be a lot of documentation now about what works with Tailwind and what doesn't work and how to move things around. But in terms of code and changes and breaking changes, yeah, that project hopefully is now going to be officially stable.
That's great. That's really good to know. one thing I was going to mention additionally is the Tailwind folks reached back out. They're actually big fans of Nativewind, as it turns out. They use it in some of the projects that they work on or maintain or whatever.
They have native projects. That's cool. I didn't
Yeah,
realize
they
that.
have native projects. They're really happy to be able to use Tailwind. Obviously, something they're literally one of the creators reached out, right? He was like, "Yo," like I emailed one person the other day. I get an email back from like one of the creators of Tailwind, and he was like, "Yeah, we love your stuff. Like, keep it coming." But yeah,
Maybe
hopefully
we
we
can go
can.
to Tailwind Conf 1 year.
Yeah.
They still do that? They did it 1 year.
I haven't seen it in a minute, but I would
Yeah.
certainly be very down for that. I think they have the audience for it, right? Like, there's quite a few
It'd be
people who
something
use
different
Tailwind.
for our audience. Because I don't think the audience
Yeah,
thinks about native at all. So it'd be good to
not
reach out
yet,
to those people.
not
Yeah,
yet.
not yet.
Yeah. So just I'm really excited to see what can come of more tight knit collaboration, communication with the Tailwind team. We'll see what the rest of the year looks like. We did just cross 250,000 downloads a week, which is up from our end of last year 100,000 downloads a week. Right, so 6 months, over 2 times, like a 2.5x increase in usage, which is cool.
That is a huge
That's big
jump in usage.
Yeah. So yeah, I do have one other bit of the Nativewind UI news, but I perhaps we jump into more of like what you've been cooking on with React Native CSS before then.
Yeah, I just want to kind of compare ourselves. I know this is like a vanity thing.
Also, what's up, Jacob?
So React Native is at 3 million, 3,000.
Yeah, it's less than Tailwind.
Yeah, I know it's still less than Tailwind. But that puts us about at the 5% mark. If I do some rough maths in my head, it's probably wrong.
Well, I mean, we have a calculator with us at all times, in contrast to what our teachers told us growing up. What was it? So we got 250K divided by, so that's, oh my God, hold on. I got to add another 8.3%. You were close. Pretty good.
I was close. Yeah.
That's
still pretty insane as a percentage of projects now using
as
Nativewind.
Something that you have to put a non-trivial amount of thought into adding into a project after you've learned about it. Yes, I would say that's pretty good.
Yes, it's not something that you reach for out of the box. Like I'm starting native for the very first day, I'm going to use Nativewind.
Certainly not.
But a lot of the web folks, I guess, think that way. Like
I think we're going to start to see that. Yeah, we're going to start to see that shift quite a bit. I think the next wave, you and I have talked about this at length, is the next wave of React Native developers just has to come from web. That's just where they're mostly at. But yeah, I still get a lot of clients coming in who hit us up and are like, we love Tailwind and all this. We're not used to this style engine of mobile or whatever. Can you advise? And then when I introduce them to Nativewind, they're like, oh my God, wow, you can do this. This is amazing. So, but yeah, back to React Native CSS. It's a public project. You can go check it out. Actually, I guess I'll pull up the link. You can feel free to jump in.
We haven't really shared this repo around. Mostly it was just sitting a bit dormant, so I was just working on it privately. But I have switched development over to the public repo now for, I don't know, people who like to follow things.
Yep. Yeah, apparently I can't post to the Twitter stream, but I can post to the YouTube one. I'm kind of curious if I have to go to the Twitter whatever stream to do that or something. Another thing is the Twitter stream is actually more in real time than the YouTube one. But here is a chat, I guess. I can send messages. There we go. So yeah, that's the React Native CSS library link.
We'll be adding more documentation to this very soon, but at the moment, the main way to consume this is through the Nativewind package.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you said you were working on testing for it, Detox specifically, I think, right?
Yeah, so I've switched to Maestro. We haven't got those tests in there just yet, but we'll have some. These are going to be rolled upstream into Nativewind as well. So we're finally going to have some actual automated tests for on-device testing, which is good. It's been a largely requested feature that we actually have automated tests on devices to fix regressions and things like that. We've always had like a hugely extensive test suite. I think we're up to like, I can remember 1,500
1,000
tests.
Yeah, I think it's like
over
well
1,000.
over 1,000.
I think it's about 1,500 now unit tests that test whether it works inside a virtualized environment. So that's using the React Native testing library, which still runs React Native, but compiles locally as JSON on your computer instead of actually on device.
Mm-hmm.
But you always need that on device EDE testing just to make sure everything works properly there. Because there's always things like click handlers, hover handlers, shadows rendering incorrectly, all those fun things.
And a bunch of those tests presumably will no longer be relevant with version 5 because so much, I mean, the animation transition stuff presumably all goes away.
Yeah, so all the animation tests become a lot easier. I've still got to keep them there, but especially for animations now, I can't use the testing library tests for them anymore because they don't actually tell me if the animation worked. They just tell me, hey, we're passing this animation to Reanimated, and Reanimated should work.
And we hope that it's doing what it's doing. Yeah.
Which is a little bit frustrating. I like to have a good EDE test suite there. So, yeah, we just need to rejig the test suite now that we rely on Reanimated a lot more. See, previously we controlled the animations. We were still using Reanimated, but we were using it in a very low-level way, but we could still assert that the animation was running properly. But now we need to change things a little bit. The annoying thing about all of this as well is that we're using the Reanimated beta for the new version, and it currently doesn't work inside Jest. It just fails. So,
did you ever
mention?
Yeah, I was going to say, did you ever end up hearing back from them, or did you not reach out last week?
I haven't reached out just yet.
Okay. I mean, I guess they're still cooking on it because it hasn't come out since then.
Yeah, so I'm trying to work on their nightly versions that they have. So they've had the 5th pre-release was released about a month ago, but they have nightly versions that come out. So we're building against the nightly at the moment. So hopefully when everything is ready, we can upgrade. But it's still not perfect with the animations. Like they still have bugs in Reanimated that they are kind of working on. So when we do go into beta, there will be a bit of like, is this us or is it Reanimated with the animations? That's caused the problem. But hopefully we can have we'll get a list, I think, of known issues with Reanimated that we can kind of upstream to them.
Presumably a lot of cross-pollination of issues then that we'll be sending through to the Reanimated team from our issues. Yeah, okay. So beta coming out, I think you said, what was it, next week or potentially?
Yeah, so React Native CSS one, there's no docs for this one, so it's not really beta people can jump into. It's just something that we're passing out to people. It's mostly this week, and then the Nativewind beta, if all goes well, the week after that.
Cool.
Which is the public, hey, we have instructions on how to use it.
Well, and then we can also, open up more of the discussion, collaboration on working on version 5. right? So it's not this
Yeah.
just like closed thing at that
Exactly.
point.
We will have to update the docs for this beta to help people do like development builds and things like
okay.
that. Because Expo Go doesn't currently work simply because Expo Go doesn't have the new version of Reanimated in it. So people
Okay.
have to use a development build, which shouldn't be a problem. You should be using a development build. If you're watching this and you're like, but I use Expo Go, you should stop using Expo Go and actually use
Hello,
a proper
Windows
development
users.
environment private. Oh yes, Windows users for iOS is
Yeah,
the
you
classic
forget
one.
about the Windows users. I always forget about them too. And then I look at the analytics for Create Expo Stack, and it's just like a pie chart, of like Mac,
Yeah.
Windows, and then Linux folks are down here in the small little bit. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I've had this. I had this discussion like literally like 2 years ago or something with a bunch of folks from the Expo team of like, what do you do with the Expo Go, like Expo Playground, like that whole thing. I know there's been a lot of internal discussions about what do you name it, what is the future of it, like what does it look like. You and I know that you should just be using development builds, and if you're on PC, then you should get a Mac. Just go out and figure it out. I don't know. But yeah, development builds are where it's at, and I think it's fine. I think if we modify the installation instructions to have a pre-build at the end of it with a little note above it saying like, hey, here's the reason, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But frankly, there shouldn't be a reason. Like Expo Go is not something you should be doing all the time. Like it is really just like a playground demo thing. And yeah, I mean, as soon as you can move away from it, I would recommend it.
Yeah, well, luckily, Expo is releasing canaries for the next version of the SDK, which uses the updated Reanimated in it.
Okay, yeah, cool. Does that have a fixed date on it, or is that just kind of like an SDK 54 type thing?
No. There's no date on this.
Okay.
It's just that they're just publishing some canary versions to test with it. Mostly just for some internal projects, just to make sure everything's working fine. But they're available on NPM for you to use. So like we are, if you look at the React Native CSS repo, it's working against these canary versions of Expo. So we need those canaries to align with this new version of Reanimated, which is a little bit annoying. I'm still wondering what we do with the full release. Like, we'll probably just be sitting in beta for a while until the new Expo SDK comes out with the new Reanimated. So all the versions kind of align properly. We'll have the beta so people can use it, but I guess the full release will have to be delayed until all of this is kind of, all our dependencies have finished their betas as well.
Yeah, and we'll have to trust that what they call something coming out of beta stable is like properly that. I don't, my general policy is whatever Expo tends to call stable is like there's a little bit ahead of it kind of thing, similar with the Apple releases of software and stuff. It's like you really want to trust the 0.1 version.
Yeah. I mean, that's just React Native in general. Upgrades are hard in React Native land.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just sit in beta. We'll probably have a unstable beta when everything is in this pre-release stage, and then like a stable beta once everything is actually properly released.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. So I mean, I can talk about the NativeWindUI update if unless there's something you want to bring up with the Nativewind stuff.
The only thing I kind of want to bring up, and this is interesting, I wasn't too sure if this was going to kind of be a public thing, but the React Native Worklets was announced on Twitter by the Reanimated team.
Yeah, what is it about? I didn't take a look at that.
Yeah, so React Native Reanimated. I'm just gonna say Reanimated.
Yeah.
The way it works is all the animations work in a separate thread, like different domain UI processing thread, they spin up another thread on the device to run all their calculations on. And then I guess I'm just going to say shared buffers. Buffers are shared between the two threads so that information can be passed between the different threads, and that's how the animations work so smoothly. This is different to the normal animations that come with React Native, the out-of-the-box ones, because most of them run on the same thread that you're actually running React on, unless you're using like the use native driver or stuff like that. So all this, like this was like the secret sauce of what made Reanimated work, and why it was able to run complex animations quite smoothly. And they've now open sourced the package behind that. So the package that allows you to spin up another thread and run JavaScript there and then pass information back to the main one, that's now being open sourced, which is interesting for us because we do a lot of calculations on the main rendering thread. So for example, when you go from light to dark mode, or a user clicks something and the styles kind of cascade a little bit, we can now move all those calculations off the main React thread to a side thread and kind of calculate the styles there. Because it turns out with the style calculations, there's a lot of styles that don't change. Like, for example, if you go from vertical to horizontal, all the media queries fire because the width changed, and you need to recalculate, okay, does this media query need updating or not? And so we go through processing a lot of your styles then, and that can actually cause a bit of a delay. You can notice a bit of a stutter if you have a very heavy app with a lot of media queries when doing a change like that. So we can simply move all those calculations off into a different thread, and that will help speed us up. We've kind of talked about this before, about like how Uni Styles does its calculations in C++ instead of the JavaScript thread. This is like the equivalent, but we don't need to use C++. We can still use JavaScript.
How does it affect debugging these animations then?
I mean, debugging is a little bit harder, but the way we work already in Nativewind is all our calculations are done inside what's called an effect. So an effect is the React terminology for an effect of something that happens outside of a render, is where we do all the calculations, and then we pass the result back to that into React via like a use state call, or via like a set state. So debugging is, you need to debug in two places, inside a different thread and then back into the main thread of when the set state gets called. But it's be quite easy for us to like separate our logic, because majority of our logic is already not running inside render, it's running inside an effect. So
okay, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's some work we could do to make it easier to understand where something is going wrong or where you want to make changes. Because I'm only sort of cautious, like if you try to understand where something might be going wrong, how long will it take you to find where that's actually happening, whether it's on one way or the other?
If we do use this, I'd probably feature flag it first and have a toggle to put it on or off, so we can try and either use it with it or use it without. This isn't something I want to do immediately.
But just something that's sort of relevant based off of
it just came out, so I think it's in like 0.1 or something like that. And I know they're using it internally, but that doesn't mean that the public API is very friendly as well. So we'll have to wait until maybe that stabilizes, that package, and then we can look at switching to that. And that should give us the performance wins that we've always been kind of looking for. So we've always said that we valued features and user experience a bit higher than performance, and because of that, we were very middle of the pack, which we were cool with. with performance, but this will actually just give us a free performance win. Like moving calculations out of the render just makes the render faster. So therefore we get faster as well. I don't think we'll beat the C++ implementations for styling, but we're definitely going to then we'll jump ahead of all the other JavaScript implementations. So
yeah,
hopefully
well,
there's a speed boost there.
There's performance, like intense performance, but realistically you need performance up to a certain point, right? It's not past a certain point, it's excessive, and I don't want to like diminish any work that's been done. And in fact, I want to like do a shout out, call Unistyles 3 coming out and stabilizing is a huge deal. Big ups to Jacek. But when a lot of people talk about the performance, having your own sense of what is performant is perhaps more important than somebody choosing the thing that's like what is more performant, right? I'm only just learning this as I recently got the gaming PC, right? And I realized my monitor actually can't render the quality of output that my computer is capable of dishing out.
That's what it's
so like it's just like an important kind of realization. Yeah. So, cool.
The other part about Worklets, while we're not using it just yet, they require you to patch React Native to work as well. So they're not very good for public KPIs. Because you need to go through and run patch package on React Native.
Right. No, unless when I hear patch package for React Native, I actually just think of was it Sudo from the Expo team?
Yep.
Is that his name?
Was that Kudo?
Kudo. Sorry, not Sudo. But yeah, I just that is who I think of when I think like this dude's about to like go hard into React Native and make it a bitch kind of thing,
He is the hardest worker and one of the biggest experts on React Native. Yeah. He's amazing.
He's one of the nicest people I've ever met. He's so humble.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So, cool. All right. Yeah, on the Nativewind UI side, it's just that we got that the app into the App Store, so the QR codes are now live. So if you go to any component, right now just iOS, I think. The Android thing is we've come up against that 12-person testing thing. I don't know if you've recently deployed something to the Play Store.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would scroll through like the Expo and React Native subreddits every once in a while and see people like asking for testers, and I'd be like, "Ha, you idiots deploying to Android." And now I'm the idiot, like we're deploying to Android, and it's annoying. It's really frustrating. I was talking to Mark on the Warzone stream, and he was like, "Yeah, I just don't ship stuff to Android anymore." Like, I'm like, "Damn, dude, if only."
The trick is deploy early. Like, get something in test flight in the Android testing stuff early. Like before you even start working on stuff, just find 12 friends. Deploy early. This is advice to anyone on the stream who's making new app and you don't want to deal with app store shenanigans after you've like just before you go to release. Like, do it first. Get a very small prototype up and working with as little as features as you can. Get into test flight, get into Android stuff with your 12 people, sort that all out. You'll save yourself so much headache once you're actually ready for release.
Go to your local coffee shop. Find 12 people if you can.
I know there is a Reddit for Android testers.
Is there? Okay.
Yes. Where I think you have to download other people's, and if you've tested up to 5 other people's apps, then you can post your app and get it tested as well.
This all feels so like antithetical to what the likely purpose of this whole thing and exercise is meant to be. But yeah, we've got like team members, we've got like their mom's emails and stuff, like being used, and just like I think Danny is using his like Android test device, because everyone has that Android test device they use for performance testing, which is like a Galaxy S3 or something, from back in the day. It runs on that, so we got that going for us.
That's good.
But yeah, so the iOS stuff is available now in the store, so you can go to any like documentation page, you'll see. I think I showed you. I guess actually I can stream it really quick. Hold on.
Yeah, that's some other advice if anyone's listening. If you're developing Android, go to wherever you like your local supermarket or somewhere where you wouldn't expect to buy a mobile phone and buy the cheapest mobile phone they have. It's always like this like weird Android that's like a Galaxy something which you've never heard of, or like an Oppa or something like that, and get that and test your app on that device because you think no one is running that device, but a lot of people are because a lot of people just buy the cheapest phone they can. And if your device works on that, then you should be fine on anything else.
Okay, that's noted. We'll keep track of that. All right. So if you like go to templates here, you got this QR code. God, I love this little effect.
That's a cool effect.
It's my favorite part is now that people can actually go here, they can actually feel it kind of like bounce, snap back into that thing. Because before it was just me showing people, and I was like, it's not enough. You got to actually go see it. But yeah, so you just scan this, and it'll take you to be able to run this on your actual physical device. And I think you and I, Mark, last week talked about how we want to kind of get a similar thing for the Nativewind docs. So maybe we'll start to see this in like we'll ship a separate application, or see if we can use Expo Go instead for something like this. That would be the ideal situation. But yeah.
Yeah, you should be able to link into Expo Go. I'll just have to talk to Cedric to work out how to do it because Expo Go can open up snacks as well.
Yes. Yeah, I've done it before. I'd have to revisit that whole thing. But yeah, so that's Nativewind UI recent thing. Oh, is this Mark? Did you share the Twitter post from regarding the worklets or something?
Oh yeah, that's the worklet stuff there.
Okay. Yeah. So those are the big updates from Nativewind UI. Most of now what we're going to be working on is some of the changes I think I mentioned last week, where we're going to be more focused on the template stuff, migrating things to a format where there's just less code to copy. You get more bang for your buck in the utility classes themselves, similar to Tailwind UI, Tailwind Plus, they're calling it now. Yeah, we gradually want to kind of make the components more free, and again, the paid aspect will be these templates, and coming soon will be these like blocks, which are collections, not quite screens, but collections of different components, all put together. Yeah, but Expo's doing a bang up job on the Expo UI stuff. Would love to jump in and contribute a bit there over the coming months. Now that this companion app is out.
So is it actually out the is this still on test flight, or is this released now?
It's on the app store. Yeah, like go up.
That QR code is actually live now.
Yeah, that QR code is live, so you can scan it. If you have the app, then it'll go right into, it's a deep link. If you don't, it'll take you to a page where you can download the iOS app and soon the Android app. And from there, it'll just throw you right in. Or you can just open the app and explore what the direction I'd like to take the app in the near future is not just a way to explore the stuff that we have, but ideally a place where you can also mess around with some of the stuff and treat it as more of an interactive playground. But I'm still working on that. What that exact experience will be like. But yeah, huge shout out to Zach Nugent and Nikita, who work on Nativewind UI, because this has been like a monumental effort to stand this thing up. Yeah, give it a try though. Would love to hear feedback from folks.
Yeah, definitely. Because give us feedback on this. We want to try and see if we can roll this upstream as well if people like it, like the experience, things like that, and just kind of refine this a little bit better. It's hard showing native UIs on a web page. It's such a challenge of how do you
Yeah.
sell this to a person? How do you tell people
There's
what
so
the
much.
experience is?
There's so much in that haptic feedback, even like when you feel it in your hands, it feels native. But when you have it there, you're like, the immediate feedback we get when people have tried this the test flight is like, wow, this like, I can't believe this isn't native. And then we have to tell them like, well, it is, largely native.
Yeah.
So crazy how still in like 2025, there's still that interpretation. The developers then, when you show them the stuff, like and yeah, they can use those utility classes they're used to style and then create something like this. Then they'll go to the resources page on the Nativewind website and see like all the other kinds of vibes that they can go for. That, yeah, trying to create this cohesive narrative where they can explore that themselves is probably the most challenging aspect of like managing this community, so to speak. But hopefully this companion app is a step in the right direction of like very quickly giving people in their hands that immediate association of like, oh wow, I can feel it. It's snappy, it's fast, it's messy. It's like it is these native components, and we add more to those, like the wallet or fitness app or whatever, and people can just like drop those into their applications. So
yeah, I think after this release as well, like some of the new features I want to start working on for the CSS stuff is like more like native features, like more native functions and things like that.
like what?
So for example, like the icons you have there, you have like on now iOS, like standardized icons, like the SF icons, like have those accessible via like the background image. So you could do like background image, SF icon, then the icon that you want.
Okay.
Also, like actually like making those icons available and like just exposing more native functionality in the styling as well. Like it'd be interesting when we start working on these things to like get people down on that journey. Like for example, you shouldn't really be setting like colors for text and things like that as much. Like you should be using platform colors, but no one does ever, because you should be respecting the user's choice for like if they've like on Android changed what their text color should be, like what their default text color or stuff like that. So it's good to use system color for that, but it's quite annoying to use it in React Native. It's not very well exposed. So I think like when we eventually finish all of this, we start focusing on that. Like, how do we get people more using like these native constructs? So your text colors are the system colors, like your alerts of the system alerts, stuff like that.
That's how we always wanted people to really think about Nativewind UI, in the sense that it's similar to ShadCN UI. It's not like it is a configuration of a system that is native, rather than it is a component library, and that you can change that configuration if you want to. But this is more so a way to consume a style, like a vibe, basically. And so I wanted to also show this off, which I think we might not have shown off before, is the we threw together, Oliver Pan did a great job on this one, also works on Nativewind UI stuff, but is like a Nativewind UI theme generator. So if the native colors aren't what you're looking for, but you still want to work within that system, that design system that we have in place, then this allows you to, as a designer, change those colors to what you want them to be. And you can actually have a similar interface for this on the website. There's like a theme generator, so you can switch out the colors and see what it looks like, and then you can actually export that. What is it? The colors file or whatever. Maybe it's the global. I forget. It's one or the other. But you export it and just put it into your project in place of what you have now, and it'll just be those colors now, right? But again, it's the design system more so than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, we should get some of the stuff because we've got the new showcase section on the website.
Yep.
I wonder if we should also do so. Showcase has obviously a lot of apps, but I wonder if we should do like a community. We've got like the UI kits as well. We kind of need something in between, which is like a showcase of tools.
Yeah. So I think
like
that
resources,
what we have now is probably going to change a little bit, right? Because right now we're featuring the people who make who make stuff with Nativewind, right? Their app uses Nativewind. I'd like above that, or to sort of replace that, right on the landing page, is that sort of partners and sponsors chunk that, like, here are the people who, you know, really believe in Nativewind and are using it and are champions of it, kind of thing, and give them the exposure, similar to how Tailwind has their partner program. And then we can have a separate section for applications using it, but not part of the partner program. Then you have the UI kits and things like that. But separate from that is the, like you said, the tools that people can use as part of the Nativewind ecosystem. And I think that all feeds in pretty well into, I mentioned this like a week or two ago, the conversation I had with Lee Robinson from previously of Vercel. And he was saying that difference between documentation, which is like just information condensed to its purest, perhaps something an LLM consumes, versus educational content that is more something meant for human consumption. And so I think that this tooling would live in that latter category, right? So we'll make this distinction of just straight up documentation, which will include those like scannable links and things like that for various different utility classes or something. And then separate from that will be like almost like Nativewind mastery, right? Here are the resources that are available to you. Here's how you can use them. Maybe some interactive playgrounds. And you can obviously see what other folks have built with that. So that's kind of the direction my brain goes with that. Because it can get a little tricky when you have so many different things, different types of ways you want to show off. But if you sort of spread them out too far away from each other on the website, then people might just not find them or get frustrated looking for them.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the idea. I think that's all the news for Nativewind so far. Obviously, better sense next week of that quote unquote beta. Hopefully by then the Android app is also up for NativewindUI, and I'll be heading out of town tomorrow. So next week I will be around. I'll do the stream, but not this background. And I'll be pretty heads down now on Nativewind stuff and Plugin Pro stuff. That's like the core focus at the moment for me. So you're going to start to see some more documentation more regularly being updated. Mark, we should probably sync like off the stream on what version 5 of the docs. What are the key things to sort of put up?
Yeah, I have to revisit that a little bit.
Yeah, so we can just like create a new PR with like a new version of the docs, but basically use the same exact style, right? Like that we have now. I don't think anything there needs to change. So
yeah,
cool.
And we also need to update the README.
Oh yeah, is the NPM one updated yet, or is that still using the old? I think it's probably still using the old one.
I think it's still using the old one.
Yeah,
just have to publish a version.
I think that's because I don't think I have access to publish versions. I think that's just you.
Yeah. That's cool. I'll
So.
look into updating that README and get that
Cool.
updated.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, unless there's any other questions, I think we can call it at 45 minutes. Probably one of our longer streams in a while. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll catch you next week.
All right. Catch you guys then. See ya.